Hello and welcome to our episode of FinTech Focus TV with me, Toby. We are here at the AI and Capital Markets Summit in New York City. I'm delighted to be joined by Kieran from Neueda. Kieran, how are you?
Good. How are you, Toby?
I'm fantastic, and I love the fact that you're here today because we were speaking beforehand, we got introduced just now, and we were talking about Belfast.
Yeah.
And it turns out that we've got the office in Belfast. I can come all the way over to New York City. Belfast never escapes me.
Yeah.
Never far from my heart. So one of the great Northern Ireland success stories, Neueda. You've done some amazing things in recent times. We're going to talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about the role of training in this industry.
Yeah.
We're here, as we say, most topically, the AI and Capital Markets Summit. You've come all the way across for it as well. Lots to talk about. Let's kick off with a little bit of a background to you and the company.
Yeah. So I'm actually quite new to the company. I joined 3.5 months ago. It's been a great journey so far.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the company's been well known to me and well known across Belfast as being a success story. I knew the founder prior to joining, and in my previous business I had built a partnership with their consulting arm.
Okay.
So I was a data management software provider previously, and that we worked with them on the implementation services. So it was a company that was well known to me. But the original part of the business started 22 years ago, founded by David Bowe, very charismatic Belfast gentleman. And he was working for a company that was delivering training services, but he felt, I'm going to go out by myself and deliver this specifically for organizations which had perhaps set up a new location in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, in Northern Ireland. And these were big financial services companies, big insurance companies, technology companies.
Yeah, of which there are many.
Many, and especially across the island of Ireland now. Because there's a great pool of talent there, so they see it as a near-shore location. There's obviously the tax benefits in Ireland as well. But David was focused on helping those companies build talent from the talent pool that was there and get them up to speed and adding value very quickly. So he was developing training programs, not just on the technology side, leaning heavily into the technology side, but also across professional skills, well-needed professional skills around, some people call them soft skills, like to call them power skills, because those are the things that can really accelerate your career. Things like managing difficult conversations, critical thinking, design thinking, thinking, thinking in different ways, and I've got a set of deliverables, get it done. Even having the management skills, teaching people who are growing up through an organization to manage people, some of those skills as well. But we lean heavily into the technology training, and the company's grown now. It's been a real success story, as I said. We were on a real growth trajectory at the minute. So the company, I think 3 years ago, was around 10 people. That growth is now we're about 50 people.
Wow.
On top of that, we have a huge pool of external associate pool of learning instructors globally that help us deliver these programs for our clients.
I think it's something that people have struggled a lot in this sort of space with as well, because the technology evolves at pace. You're bringing people in, particularly at entry level, and you see a tremendously expensive sort of churn. You talked about some of the big financial institutions. There's a lot of work to get the right people on board, but then afterwards it's the aftercare, where you see stunted development, people moving into different things, frustration coming in, etc., and also a lot of outdated training that happens, where things that have stayed the same. This is our program. But you can't do that in this space, and particularly now as we're here at the AI and Capital Markets Summit. It's stupid not to talk about AI in this area. But I think with the evolution and the speed of growth and all that sort of thing, it's been difficult for people to put a program in that adapts with time. But that seems to be something which you guys have absolutely nailed.
It's exactly that. So rather than deliver off-the-shelf generic content, we engage with our clients, and this is what's really unique about Neueda. So we engage with our clients to really understand their ultimate business goals. From there, we can then establish who are the personas they need to train to get to those ultimate business goals. What are the learning outcomes that they're desired? to achieve those ultimate business outcomes. And from that point, we then start crafting tailored training programs for each of those different personas.
Yeah.
So we can take them on a journey and help them get, to a point where they're adding maximum value and they're furthering their own careers.
Yes.
I think it's an important point you said. In the recruitment business, you know how difficult it can be to get the right candidate into the right role. So you want to keep them.
Yeah.
You want to invest in your people.
Yeah.
And rather than going out and bringing in external consultants, why not retrain and upskill your internal
Absolutely.
full-time employees so they can flourish in their roles, and that's been our real focus. In terms of recency and keeping the training up to date, it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
I was actually chatting with a big banking client of ours here in New York City yesterday in the data space. And obviously I can't say who that is, but their data governance, their data literacy training is over 3 years out of date.
Yeah.
So people internally have lost faith in that.
Yeah.
And it's so important to keep that up to date with the latest strategy, with the latest technologies. In data, you can get away with that for a bit longer. In AI, that's got to be up to date to the minute.
Yeah.
You can imagine if your AI training's 3 years out of date, you'd have to throw that out right now.
Exactly.
So it's got to be.
If it's 3 months out of date, you've got to throw it out.
Well, this is it. You got to keep up with it. So how we tackle that is continuous improvement.
Yeah.
If we're going through different waves of training, what we're doing is gathering feedback from the managers, from the learning and design or learning and development teams, from the participants, so we can keep that up to date. Our trainers, we have live instructors who are delivering classroom training as well as the self-paced digital learning content.
Yeah.
And those instructors are top of the game. When I think of the pool of instructors we have in AI, they would be welcome panelists at the event today. They're ahead of the curve. They're thinking of the next. Some of them are thinking about doing courses in quantum computing. They're ahead of the curve. So keeping up to date with that, not just the technologies, but the approaches and how with AI you can reorganize the whole software development lifecycle to get one of these AI solutions into production.
Yeah.
It's not about just gaining efficiency here, gaining efficiency there. It's about actually rewriting the rule book a bit around all that. So you gotta keep up to date with that stuff.
I think I was telling you before we came on air, there was an article that sort of really spurred my thinking.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and it's how there's a suggestion that education should have 30% of its time taught on and focused on AI in schools. And our thought process around that was that there's going to be competition for people to get jobs when moving further forward, and those people who are at the forefront of AI thinking, I'm very excited about prompt engineering and all those sort of things, but people are at the forefront, it becomes something which puts you ahead of the curve, makes you more employable than other people. But to do a third of a curriculum in something that changes every 3 months, as we were talking about anyway, how do we get that right? How does it come into it? I'd love to take your take on what that looks like.
Well, it's something from a corporate social responsibility standpoint that we take quite very seriously.
Yeah.
A lot of our instructors, we would deliver pro bono work into schools. David, the founder of our business, is currently working with my former grammar school in Belfast.
Right, okay.
Because they have a hub for technology there, and for the past few years they've been making sure that software engineering's getting into the curriculum, never mind AI. So they're quite behind the curve. So my old school, I'll call them out, Somalingese College in Belfast. They have a technology centre which is not just used by Somalis, it's actually used by all the other local schools in the area.
Incredible.
So David's working with putting a curriculum together that includes early stage AI training for teenagers, and teenage boys and girls in Belfast. So things like that are really important. I think applied into the business world, we all need to learn this stuff because, quite frankly, it's not the doom and gloom side of things. Jobs are at risk through this. It's that we can't hide from that fact. There are things that are going to be automated. So in order to protect ourselves against that and protect your employees, you got to encourage them to go through training. And one of the ways we do that is through certification. It motivates your internal staff to go through training because they get a badge at the end of it. Yeah. But that also it's helping them further their career and actually protect them longer term, because those skills will last you a long time, and you got to keep those up to date.
Well, there's a statistic that we've been looking at in our company for a while now, which is the average tenure of a software engineer globally. So this is an external bit of data, but it's 18 months as a software engineer's average tenure. So if you're thinking, right, you can help people improve and develop and keep them longer, even if it's by 6 months, that extra 6 months is a game changer in terms of productivity, in terms of retention, in terms of being able to keep staff and grow your business in a super competitive world, particularly in this capital markets arena where everyone's looking constantly for the right sort of talent. Let's just finish with looking at Neueda within this capital markets environment. So you're here today, you know the space that we're in there. Where do you fit into the ecosystem here? It's working obviously with an awful lot of the banks who seem to be buying.
So specifically around AI, I mean, that's what we're here promoting today. We have as you would expect for a training company today, we have a wide-ranging program that covers AI, and the way we approach it is as a framework. It's focused on different personas within these organizations. So training for your business and operations teams, less technical or non-technical staff, is completely different to the training for the technical staff, the software engineers, the data scientists, the prompt engineers, etc. Is different to the tech leaders, because some of these organizations we're helping train their staff. They're huge organizations, and rolling out training at this pace is challenging. So what we're doing is training champions within these organizations to go out and train their own staff and empower their own staff in their own teams on the right methods of how you can you can implement AI solutions, right up to the strategy and leadership. As you said earlier, this stuff is moving at such a pace that you gotta be constantly re-looking at that strategy from across the business. So we're approaching it and adding value with these organizations by having AI training at all those different persona levels. And even within those, there's different roles within those, and we're tailoring programs so that they're following different pathways. Again, I go back to those business outcomes, help them achieve that strategy. So that's what we're here today promoting, and lots of great conversations already so far, because skills and upskilling is the top of everyone's mind.
I've heard, you'll be pleased to hear this. I've been at various different stages where I've heard people talking about it's being a cool way of doing things over there. So the word's getting around, and it's great to see it. And it's great to see another, as I say, Belfast success story come out of it. It's an incredible place with so much innovation that's packed into such a small area, and so much talent out there. So to see another person from there is great to see.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. Thanks for talking to us.